Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing well. Today I have a car that I bought on a bit of a whim really, a bit of a punt. I was going through the auctions. I thought I've never owned one of those before. I'd really like to. If I can get it this cheap, it'll be a great little car. Even if it's got some issues, I could fix them. And I don't think I would go too wrong. Just quickly, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers of Shifting Metal. I'm overwhelmed of how many people are enjoying the content. So if you have subscribed, thank you very much. If you haven't, please do hit the subscribe button and you will get all the videos coming up in the future. Anyway, let's have a look at our car. It is this 2003 Porsche Cayenne S, which means that it's a normally aspirated 4.5 V8 that sounds absolutely awesome. And despite absolutely hating these cars when they first came out and thinking, God, why have they tried to make a 4x4 that looks like a 996 or a Porsche Boxster on the front? It looks like a Boxster on stilts and all that sort of stuff. I really like the look of this car now. I really like it. I don't know why. I mean, if you take the front end out of it, that's a Volkswagen Touareg, isn't it? But still, I think on the whole, it's a really smart car. And for what I paid, which was under £2,000 for this car. It's on 109,000 miles, comes with service history, just the one key, sadly. It's got a long MOT, and it's in really good condition. It did need a battery, which I've spent 115 quid on, and we've given it a bit of a clean, but not much. What a car, what a car. I absolutely love this, I think it's amazing. 18-inch alloy wheels, which, to be honest, look lost on this thing really, but they're all in pretty decent condition. None of them are perfect, and they've all got some signs of corrosion coming on, but they suit this car. You know, anything much bigger, flashier would take away the classiness of this car, I think. Around the back we've got the twin exit exhausts. We've got the original 03 plate on there. This did come on a private plate, which was Y6 SDS. I've had that removed and that is now up for sale. So anyone with the initials SDS or anything along those lines, do feel free to send me a message. I have a plate for sale that would suit you. So as I say, it's got these huge twin exhaust tips on the back, which not only look good, but the whole car sounds great as well. No spoiler or anything modern like a rear view camera on here, but it is a big opening tailgate. And I've only just realised that it's got a split tailgate as well, which you would expect on something like this, but it is a nice feature to have. And what about these rear lights? They are looking pretty retro now. I think they've hit the point of being retro enough that they're retro cool. 5 years ago I would have said they look rubbish and naff, but now I'm actually really fond of them. This, I guess you could start to say, is coming a bit modern classic. Maybe I'm reaching a little bit there, but still, what a car. Bodywork wise, it's actually really good. There is a little car park dink here, and I think actually there is a dent, but a lot of the scuff there would actually polish out. All the plastic trims could do with a bit of dressing. Another wheel in good condition. This, again, being the near side front, is going to be the worst. And there is a little bit of light curbing, but I think these tyres probably protect it from most of it. Again, typical Porsche, it would benefit from a little headlight restoration and probably drying out. You can see there's some water droplets in there. Yeah, once the seal's gone on them, you do need to sort of dry them out and reseal them. Yeah, this, I don't think you can deny, it's a pretty car. It is a pretty car. It's big and it's a bit ungainly, but I still think it's very pretty, at least from the front. From looking at it from that angle, Touareg, ooh, Cayenne, that bumper does make a big difference. What else is worth pointing out? Front and rear parking sensors. Like I say, no cameras or anything like that. It's a bit too old for that, but still, what a lovely car. Let's have a quick look inside. So here is our key, and it's probably one of the early Porsche ones where they've designed it to look like the car. If you ask me, if you're old enough to know, that looks like a 4x4 in the original GTA game. Got a nice sunroof in here. Really nice looking seats. Still in pretty decent condition. There's not much wear going on with these. Electronically adjusted, even the headrest. I'm not quite sure what this one was for because the button's broken. We'll try and have a look on the other side. Steering wheel looking a bit dated, but still quite nice. It's very reminiscent of the early 997 steering wheels. It's got the 911 style 5-ringed gauges, which looks really nice. Whole thing's just really nice for the age. No auto lights. It does have rain sensing wipers, in the sense that it senses it for the rain wiper speed, but it doesn't turn the wipers on. So they're not completely automated, but they do have a speed automation to them. We have heated and it should be folding mirrors. Yep, there we go. They fold away nicely. Whether you can make that do that on the key or not, I don't know. Perhaps with some of the Porsche PWIS software, but I haven't figured out how to do it yet. As I say, we've got a nice sunroof, a nice feature to have. I'm not sure if that was that must have been an optional extra. I did print off a build sheet for this. If you have a Porsche, or many other cars, but for Porsche, for example, I've gone to a website called VIN Analytics. You can type in your VIN number, you pay something like $12, and it will print off the original build sheet for you and tell you everything that this car includes, which, stupidly, I didn't bring out with me. So I might have to fetch, but I probably don't need it because it's not a hugely spec'd car, to be honest. It doesn't have heated seats. There seems to be a running theme with my channel. I love heated seats, but I never seem to buy a car that's got them. It has a through luggage area, which came with a ski bag. Whether we've got the ski bag or not anymore, I don't think we do. It's got the 18-inch alloy wheels, dual zone climate control. It's got satellite navigation. Not that I can get it to work, because if I hit the navigation button, it just seems to want to load forever and not really go anywhere. So let me show you that quickly. So here is our Porsche module. If I hit map and then confirm that I'm not driving, this is the screen that we get, and it just never seems to go anywhere from there. This just seems to be the constant thing that happens. I don't know if so let's cancel. Oh, that's turning it off. Yeah, if I press map, it just doesn't come on. It says we have telephone. I haven't looked into it. I highly doubt that it's Bluetooth. It probably means that there's a SIM card somewhere. Oh yes, it is a spec'd smoker's version, which means that we get front and rear ashtrays, which looks like it may have been used at some point in its life, but it doesn't smell smoky in here, so that's a huge bonus. We have our terrain controls. I guess this takes us from rear diff lock and not, and mountain terrain onto the open roads. We've got a slidey double cup holder thing. That's a quite nice position to have that. Our center armrest. Here would be our telephone. So if you did want telephone connected, it would be via this Porsche Cayenne phone for your business calls from the early 2000s. Where exactly the SIM card goes, I don't know, but that goes in there. It says to check card, so we would have to find out where the card goes, but I don't think anyone's going to be using that. And another little cubby hole in there as well. Let's have a look in the glove box. So we press that there. We've got CDs for the navigation system. Looks like we've got a folder. Let's have a quick look through what we've got in here. So we've actually got a maintenance book. In the office, I've got some of the paperwork for this car, which includes three or four services, two of which being Porsche. It looks like we've actually got better than that here. Saxton 4x4, quite a well-known 4x4 place. Whether they were the original supplier or not, I don't know. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 9 services. The last being at 103,709 miles. We are only on 5,000 and say 100 more than that now. So it's not being serviced that long ago, except for it was in December of 2019, so a good few years ago, but not very far ago on mileage. Shows you how very little this car has been driven. But it's really nice to see that the service history goes through from, I wonder if the Porsche ones I've got were the original ones, say at like 5,000, 10,000, because this seems to start 26,000, 34,000, 44,000, 61,000, 72,000, 81,000, 90,000, 99,000, and 103,000. So it's not been neglected, and I think that shows, because it is actually a really tidy car for what is now 20 years old. Right, so we've got a service book. We've got all the usual manuals and things, which is always nice to see, and some of the old MOT certificates by the looks of it, which we now know from previous videos that people do like to see. And I appreciate your feedback on the MOT history, because it's one of those things where when we're putting the paperwork together, sometimes, especially if we've got a car that doesn't seem to have a huge amount of paperwork, or it's just a paperwork service printout, you feel a bit like you're not handing the customer much and it doesn't look very good. So we can go through with the V5. If you don't know, say you have your car and you don't have your MOT history and you would like to put it in the glove box so that when it comes to sell it, it would look like it's got a better sort of history, or just look like it's been, you know, something that's been, attention to detail has been taken. You can go onto the Gov website, go to the MOT checker, and you can print off all the old MOT certificates that will come out exactly the same as they would at the MOT centre. You just need to have your current V5 and the V5 registration number, which it will ask you for. You type that stuff in, you can print them out. So we could print out a comprehensive record of the MOTs. So if that comes across as being a bit more of a comprehensive history, well worth doing for us, or well worth for you doing when it comes to selling your car privately as well. It looks really good in the back as well. These seats, I think, look amazing. They're quite basic, but somehow they've made them look incredibly sporty as well. Centre armrest is open. Bit of damp and weird stains in there. This would be our through luggage. Oh, and here is the ski bag. We actually do have the ski bag. That's pretty cool. And it looks practically in brand new condition, so I doubt it's ever been used. Look at that, 20 years old, and it's as good as the day it arrived, basically, I would say, until I don't fold it away properly. There we go. Let's have a little look in the boot. Like I say, it's got the split boot system, so you can open up the top screen. Will the gas struts keep it open? They do seem to, that's good. We've got some roof rails in here as well, and I'm pretty sure, someone may tell me otherwise, I can't actually find a maker's mark, but they look of good enough quality to actually be Porsche themselves. No, I can't find a maker's mark, but some nice roof rails anyway. Whether we got the keys or not, that'd be the next question. The, what do you call it, parcel shelf is still here, so your little load cover, and then you've got the dog guard as well. That will come up. My favourite type of parcel shelf, one that also has a dog guard in it. As a dog owner, that is a huge bonus when it's already in the car. Pop the back up. Now, I got a feeling this might have been motorised at one point. Correct me if I'm wrong, you Porsche fans will know, but it seems to make some kind of electronic whirring noises as it's going up. But then again, there's no button to close it, I can see, so perhaps it wasn't, perhaps it was just a bit mechanically aided, I don't know. Oh, I've seen my first spot of rust just around the number plate light there, but otherwise I haven't seen a spot of rust on this car. So the boot itself looks pretty clean. Let's have a look in our storage compartments. What have we got on here? Porsche original Mobile 1. What does that come with then? A bit of engine oil, 0W40, some gloves. That's nice to see. I'm going to zip that up properly again. Let's have a quick look in this side as well. So, we've got a CD changer, I assume 4 CD changer, and our warning triangle. What a difference it makes when you're looking at a car and you find all the little bits and pieces like the Porsche oil spare, things like that in here. What a difference that makes to the car and how it feels. Look how tidy it is under here. All right, that's not the original air pump, is it? We've got a Ring Automotive one, but we've got our original Porsche tyre foam kit, which, to be honest, I imagine would be out of date by now. Here's our Bose sound system. So this does have, I say sound system, subwoofer. So this does have a really good sound system. Our toolkit looks pretty much all intact, including our jack and everything under there, all packed away nice and neatly. what a result this is turning out to be. Let's pop the bonnet. Look at that beast. How clean and tidy does it look under here as well? Admittedly, it probably wants a little bit of a clean, but everything's just in such nice condition. All the bits of plastic that should be here are still here. It's not being battered and abused. We've even still got badges and things which quite often can go missing. Let's have a little look at the oil. Pretty good under there. We've still got a bit of colour to the oil. It's not completely black, so that's good. As I say, only done 3,000 miles ago, even if it was a few years ago, or 5,000 miles ago, I should say, sorry. Do you know what? I can't even figure out where the coolant is on this. Under here. Super clean, as I'd expect. Part of the reason I felt fairly confident in buying this car for, I can't remember what my actual proxy bid was, but as I say, I got it for under 2,000 all in. Probably less than that by the time I've sold the number plate and put that one back on, despite having put the battery in it. 1,800 quid, maybe it owes me, maybe less, but the engine alone's worth £2,000. One of my colleagues did a check. A wing mirror is £300. You know, this car would break for an absolute fortune. Don't worry, I would never do that. I think this is way too nice of a car to doing that sort of stuff too. But I guess had someone saying, "Oh, it sounds like you're bragging about the cars that you've bought and for how much you bought them for, if I've got something cheap," well, it's all a risk. It's all a bit of a gamble, really, isn't it? I don't ever actually gamble on anything other than work. If I buy a car or I buy a house or anything, nothing's guaranteed. I'm taking a risk here, and I was taking a risk with buying this. In fact, the report on this said that it had a smoking engine, and I thought, how bad can it be? If it is, I'll break it, I'll do something with it, it'll make a funny video, at least it'll be smoking really badly and I'll be able to look like an idiot on camera, and you know, trying to think of the positives out of it. Turns out I think they just fired it up in the cold RAC work shed at BCA. There's a bit of condensation coming out of the exhaust because we've seen no smoke whatsoever. There's condensation that comes out the exhaust when it's cold because it is freezing out here. It's a gamble. It's a mixture of luck. It's a mixture of experience. And yes, sometimes you win. Trust me, sometimes you lose. You've seen that on some of my videos with like the clocked Volvo. I'm 600 quid out of pocket there. It happens with more cars than that. Sometimes nice cars that don't have any problems, but they sit on the forecourt and no one seems to want to buy them. And you have to sell them at a loss just to recycle that money and put them back into something else. So if I come across as I'm bragging when I'm talking about these cars, then I apologise. That's not the case at all. It's more of an insight and say, look, you could take a gamble. You could get an absolute result. You could perhaps double your money on this car if you were to buy this, clean it up and sell it privately. Why not? I would love for you to do that. If you're someone who's like, I hate my job, I hate doing my 9 to 5 and whatever it is. If you're someone like me who was a full-time plumber and hated his job, but you can buy a car and you can make a week's, 2 weeks, a month's wages out of one deal, spending some of your time in your evenings, I encourage you to do it. Take the risks that you can sensibly make. It could turn into something great for you. So it's not me bragging. It's just sharing my luck or misfortune with you. Anyway, rant over. Try not to get too triggered by the comments. Let's take this thing out and turn some money into noise. We're not going that fast, but oh, it sounds good and it puts a smile on your face. So to talk about stats very quickly before we get into the actual driving and handling of this car. As I say, it's a 4.5 naturally aspirated V8 and it produces 335 brake horsepower, or at least it should have done from the factory. That means you can take yourself from 0 to 60 in 7.2 seconds, which is pretty good for a big old thing like this. But you got to wonder, how's that going to hit me in the pocket when it comes to MPG? You won't be surprised to hear when I tell you that the combined MPG of this car is 19 miles per gallon combined, and that's what Porsche is telling you. So you're probably not going to get that, are you? Running around town doing bits and pieces, 15 miles per gallon maybe. Like, what on earth does this think it is? A McLaren? How good does that sound? That is the sound of my money flying out the exhaust. £1. Or £1.50. Yeah, you've got to love a V8 sound. That is incredibly satisfying. It does actually handle really well for a big heavy car as well, and I think the original design brief was to make this feel like it was a Boxster or a Cayman through the corners, and it certainly feels more like that than it would feel like a Range Rover, and so does it when it comes to ride comfort as well. This is not really a big comfortable SUV that's soaking up all the bumps. It feels more like a sports car. You feel the bumps, so it sits somewhere in a weird position between someone who wants a big comfortable car and someone who wants a sports car. You're kind of forced to be in the middle. I would have thought you'd go for a fast estate car, especially when you factor in the fuel economy. But then originally this car would have been £60,000-70,000, and whoever was buying it probably wasn't all that worried about the fuel prices. Let's face it, we'd all happily drive a 4.5 V8 if we were paying fuel prices from 2003. Sadly, the Porsche build quality hasn't really carried over into this Cayenne when they've made them. The armrest is rattling, as are many of the door panels in here. The interior finish is a cheap plastic made to look like leather, rather than say in something like my 911 where it is leather and stitched nicely. Even the steering wheel, it probably is a leather or a PU leather of some sort, but it's hard and stiff and there's no kind of comfort to it whatsoever. It may as well be plastic, it is that hard. So it does disappoint you on that front really. It's, you know, for a bit more like you're in a Volkswagen Golf from 2004 than you are in a £60,000-70,000 Porsche. As far as the sound system's concerned, sound quality is excellent, although it's not a very user-friendly radio, to be honest. Something about the early 2000s, I think, means the more buttons you had, the better the sound system, or the bigger of a high roller you were. These days that's obviously not the case and everything's touchscreen, so I think if you were to get a double DIN head unit to go in here, that would freshen this interior up massively and give you all the connectivity that you're missing out on, Bluetooth, etc. One thing I do want to do is a quick draggy run on this car, see how close we can get to that 7.2 0 to 60 time, and see just how many of our 335 ponies have bolted from the stable in the last 20 years. I'm just going to put it into sport mode, leave it in automatic mode, and maybe I'll turn the PSM off. We'll see how we do from there. I'm not going to bother trying to do it in manual mode because we all know I'm not a very good driver. I'm certainly not very good at these launches. So let's just see how we get on letting the car do its stuff. Okay, here we go. That's 40. I've made an error there. Hopefully we reach 60 miles an hour in first gear, because that isn't really sport, it's just manual. This doesn't really have, this kind of predates where you would put it left for sport or then manual. That was just manual, so let's try that again. So yeah, we didn't actually quite reach 60 miles an hour there, so I can't tell you how fast that was. So we've got one chance at this on the way back, because I can't be bothered to turn around. I need to get back and actually do some work. So fingers crossed. I think I'm going to put it across into manual mode and just change up when clearly we need to change up. I think even I can manage that, but we will see. Okay, take two, here we go. Change up, that's quite a nice smooth change up. Well, we're definitely over 60 there. Woo. This, I think, being four-wheel drive, doesn't really feel like it picks up off the line that quickly. But once you get moving, once it starts rolling, the momentum just carries and carries and carries, and it's kind of unrelenting power then. So we'll have a little check and see how we did there. So 7.60 seconds, so 0.4 seconds slower than it should have been from factory, and that's me not knowing exactly how I'm really meant to use this car and being generally a bit pants at doing 0 to 60 runs. So I'm pretty chuffed with that. I don't feel like we've lost a huge amount of power from this car. Like I don't feel like we've lost a huge amount of quality or condition from this car as well. It's clearly been really well looked after, and I feel like this is one of my lucky buys. I think I have lucked out. If I was to put this on the forecourt here at Barrow Motors, I think it's a 4995 car. Bearing in mind we're going to have to do some servicing, probably a fresh MOT, quite a few bits and pieces on that. But say you had a £2,000 margin left in it, minus your VAT, etc, etc. It's a great buy, right? But I'm not sure I'm going to do that. I think I might trade this car on, just because the potential repair bills on something like this frankly terrify me. So as always guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave it a like, leave me a comment, let me know what you think about the bargain Cayenne. Am I even pronouncing Cayenne right? I don't know at this stage. Do I care? Not really. And yeah, make sure if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe. I've got some interesting stuff in at the moment. Look at that for a nice Audi S4 estate with great spec. I need to do a video on that. A bit further down the forecourt you probably can't see, but we've got a lovely 2017 BMW 430d on nice black M4 alloy wheels. The car's lovely. I'm looking forward to getting out and driving that. And I've got a customer's car to do. We had a chap, Julian, come in and sell us via our car selling website, carsboughtformore.com. Please do visit the site if you want to sell a car, especially if you've got something interesting and you might like to see it on the channel. Julian came and sold us his 2010 Abarth 500 SS. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's almost like SS. I'll write it on the screen now, but I think it's SS. An awesome sounding car, looks great. I can't wait to get out on it and have some fun. Yeah, a great bit of kit really. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you comment, like the video, waffle, waffle, waffle. I'll see you in the next video, guys.